All the other ones are kind of Disney like. Okay,
Yep.
come get this going. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Spotlight Series. We are in June, which means we are doing anime movies. And so me and my buddies, we have broke the seal on the Miyazaki, just rapping. And we are now in Miyazaki month, honestly, watching some really, really, really good ones. So we watched Princess Mononoke this week. One of the absolute, really pretty awesome ones. It's not my personal favorite. That's Kiki's Delivery Service. That's the best one ever, but that's just me. But it's funny. This was supposed to be Miyazaki's final film, but then it did really good. And Studio Ghibli got way more popular outside of Japan. He's like, I'll stay a little bit. Made it Spirited Away. And then he's like, I'm out, y'all. And then he came back like 20 other times. So I think right now he's just doing like writing. I don't think he directs anymore, but I know From Up on Poppy Hill,
So good.
his son was a director and he helped with the plot of it or the writing. So it just depends on what they're doing. So I learned that James Cameron, he cites this movie as an inspiration for Avatar, the blue one, not Ong, the all right movie.
Everyone knows what
That
game
wasn't called
James
Avatar. That was
Cameron
called
did.
Yeah, that was called The Last Airbender. Otis. It wasn't even called Avatar,
So
sir.
you know what the hell I'm talking about. Harvey Weinstein, boo. He wanted to highly edit and cut down the film because he thought 2 hours and 17 minutes is a little too much for an animated film.
Fuck this guy.
And then Miyazaki was like, quit it. And they fought for a long time. And then Weinstein just gave up. And so Miyazaki was real excited. He's like, I won. The movie, it actually replaced E.T. as the biggest grossing film in Japan until Titanic. But this is a very loved film. Neil Gaiman, he actually worked on the script. So it's not a full one-to-one translation from Japan. He helped Americanize a lot of phrases and things that they say. And actually, he wasn't the first choice. Harvey Weinstein actually went to Quentin Tarantino first to help with the script and the plot. But then he was like, nah, I'm not the one for this. And then gave it to Neil Gaiman. So that worked out. San, one of the main characters, she was inspiration for Ahsoka in Star Wars with their whole environment situation and how they fight and stuff. So it worked out. And let me see, not as many colors as Akira, because I want to say Akira is around what, 600?
Well, Akira did all that crazy shit and like invented new colors specifically for the movie.
Yeah. Well,
Nobody else was doing that.
I mean, they're no slouch in this one. They used 550 different colors in this film. I want to say Akira was
More. Yes.
Yeah, obviously more. So that's all I really got for this film. So we'll get through the plot. I want to say it's simple. It's really not that simple. There's a lot of bad guys and not good guys.
Mm-hmm.
So in this one's really weird because Miyazaki, he wanted to make sure that there wasn't a solid good guy. A solid good guy or bad guy in this film. There are people that have goals and things they're trying to take care of. And you might see someone as a villain in one part, but then it's like, oh, but they're doing that and helping these people out. So maybe they're not that bad. But then they do things. I'm like, well, they just killed that thing. So maybe they are kind of bad. So I really enjoy that. In a lot of his films, he tries not to have just a villain just like twisting their mustache and giggling as they hop into their hot air balloon to get away. So I actually really enjoy that about his films. So like always, we'll get through this film and talk about it and stuff. We'll go through favorite, least favorites. So this is actually a ancient Japanese kind of feel. It's one of the only ones that he does back then. A lot of Miyazaki films are, I wouldn't say modern, but a lot more newer than a lot of them. But this one's way back in the day. And so Prince Ashitaka, he gets a call that there is something really close to his town. And he goes to investigate, and it's a giant boar. Well, monster. They find out later it's a giant boar, but it is covered in very creepy, wiggly things. And so he actually goes to fight it. And he gets tagged by the corruption that is on this giant boar, and he gets infected by it. And so the mage, or of the town. I don't know what she was, the witch.
Yeah,
The
she's
elder,
like the
yeah.
elder.
The village elder.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say witch.
the village elder.
But the village
Shaman.
elder tells Ashitaka that his fate is to die. He's like, yeah, you're gonna die. I'm sorry, chief. But there is a chance if he goes out into the world to investigate and find out what started this corruption, and maybe there's a cure for him out there. But the downside is he can't come back to his hometown. So
He's got to cut
For
his
whatever
hair
reason.
and leave.
yeah. Hey,
They didn't really make that clear as to why it was like, well, you got to go and you're gone forever. You're dead to us now. Like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah, you're our last prince. It of blood. All the blood is like muddied, except you're pure and awesome. But if you leave, we'll kill you if you come back. I'm like, oh, cool. That's
Yeah. After she was sitting there just playing with her little rocks, like, oh, these rocks tell me the future.
yeah. She was playing dice.
Yeah, she was. She was a click, 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 click.
Yeah, 7, 11. Yeah. So
You got to go.
right, Ashitaka, he cuts his hair and he heads off on his deer. I can't remember the deer's name.
Yeah,
What's his
cool.
name, Steve?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, cool.
It's
His
like an antelope.
deer horse.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best friend horses you'll see in something. I like the horse from Shadow of the Colossus, Aggro. He's a really good horse. He went through a lot in that game. But this horse goes through a lot too. So he heads
And
out.
doesn't turn out to be helping the bad guy. So,
Yeah,
fuck
right.
aggro.
Oh, Shadow of the Colossus is good. Ashitaka, he actually realizes that the corruption in his arm makes him super strong. And so he actually he shoots an arrow to save some people. And lo and behold, he decapitates a man and takes another guy's arms off. So it's really weird. And so he tries to keep it at bay using cold water and stuff like that. But it's slowly infecting his body and it's going to kill him at some point. So he's very much on a rush. He meets, was it Jigo? I think it's Jigo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he meets Jigo. He looks like a monk when you first meet him, but he has many jobs and titles in this movie. And he kind of leads him in the right direction. He tells him that the Force Spirit might be able to help him with his situation and leads him close to Irontown. And so we see that Irontown is led by Lady Eboshi, and she is fighting off an attack by giant wolves. And they use their giant, I want to say pistolas, but they're gigantic cannon, shoulder mounted guns, and fighting them off. And the wolves are actually being led, well, not really led, but second in command by a little girl, a teenage girl. She's riding on one of them. Her name is Sun 805. And the head wolf gets just completely blasted with the cannon and falls off the cliff. And they're like, we did it. We killed the wolf goddess. And nah, it takes more than that. He's like, okay. So you find out in Irontown that Lady Eboshi, she is clearing out the forest. So she kind of waged a war against nature and against other factions because they want what she has. They mine for iron, and this place is really prosperous. And so everyone wants to attack it and take it over. And so by fighting against nature, a ton of animals and spirits don't like that. And so she's fighting against humans and animals the whole time. But it seems like she is a villain with that, but then you find out why she's doing it. She's one of the only few people that helps out all the lepers that come close to town. And she gives all of the ladies of the evening, the whores, a chance to not have
The
to
whores.
not to sell their bodies. And so they actually
I loved that about her character.
She rescued all the girls from the local brothels and was
Yeah.
like, hey, you can come work for me and be a craftsman.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty cool. She's a pretty good person, I will say. There's some situations where she does bad things, but like I said, she has a goal and she's going that way. So Ashitaka talks to her and learns that the iron ball that was inside of the boar came from her place, and he actually finds out that Lady Eboshi, she led the attack on the boar and caused him to go crazy and attack him and corrupt him. And so he is very pissed off about the whole situation. with Lady Eboshi, and she's like, "My bad, like kind of in the way. I'm sorry, bud." So while that's going down, and Ashitaka is helping out the ladies of the evening with their smelting situation, there is an attack. So San came back with her wolf brethren, and she actually gets into the town, and so she is super quick and getting past everybody. And her goal is to kill Lady Eboshi, because if they take her out, nature will have a good chance of surviving this whole situation. And so while they're fighting, Ashitaka wants to find a peaceful method to get through all of this. And so he doesn't want to kill San. He doesn't want to kill Lady Eboshi. He wants everybody to live and get through this. And so, like I said, there's different sides to this argument. Even Ashitaka's method isn't all that smart, because he's like, don't fight, we'll figure this out, but don't kill each other. I'm like, it's kind of gonna have to be. Someone's gonna have to die for this to work out. But he's a nice dude from a tiny little town. So during the fight, Lady Eboshi and San fight, wives of some dudes that died earlier because of the attacks, they get a couple of shots on San. She has a mask. She takes a shot straight to the face and blows off her mask, and she's getting beat up. Ashitaka comes in, knocks out San and Lady Eboshi, and he's like, "I'm leaving with this girl, and you can't stop me." And they're like, "Close the doors." And he's like, I'm leaving out the door I came out of. He takes a shot to his chest, well, off to the side, and uses his super strength to open the gate, which is impossible for one person. But he opens it up and walks off like a G, bleeding way too much blood. So he rides off on your cool and blacks out from the loss of blood. And San actually is about to kill him. And then he opens his eyes and is like, "Wow, you're really pretty." And she's like, "Bleh." And she's taken aback by his nice words, and actually takes him to this sweet forest for him to heal.
Yeah, he put them two ladies down though when they were trying to fight. He was like, "I'm tired of your shit." Ugh. Punched them both in the gut.
Okay, so the Ashitaka, busted up Ashitaka, he actually gets to see the forest spirit, and it saves his life. It actually heals him. It doesn't take
super
away...
creepy looking.
Yeah, that face, that was really, really weird looking. I'd have swung at that thing.
Yeah.
That was scary.
It was a deer with like a human face and a shit ton of horns on its head. It was strange.
Yeah, and it starts walking, it's just killing everything and then making things grow. Just let that get into your face. Like, "How's it going, Steve?" I'm like that. So he gets healed by the forest spirit, and it's really nice. But like I said, its corruption doesn't get taken away. So he hasn't done enough to get all that fixed up. So the animals led by Okoto, the Boar clan, they meet up with the wolves, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to do this last ditch effort, and we're going to take out the humans to save nature." And the wolves at first aren't really that keen on the plan, and they kind of want to go over it, but the Boar people have numbers. And so Koto is an old blind leader, and so he's like, "We got this, man. We got this." So Eboshi,
well, they were more willing to just like, "It doesn't matter, man. We're all gonna die, so we might as well just like try to kill them before we die," kind of thing. And the wolves are like, "That's dumb," and the boys are like, "Nah, that's how it's gonna be."
Nah, it's easy. We got this.
With Keith David's sweet voice being a Koto.
Right? Oh man, so awesome. So Jigo tells Eboshi that the Emperor wants the god's head, and so that's the game plan. And she wants to give the god's head to the Emperor for protection against Lord Asano. And so, like I said, everyone's got a goal, a thing they want to do. And according to the legend, the forest spirit's head gets you immortality. And so, I mean, I guess if in a world where there actually are spirits, that's probably a pretty reasonable thing to want to get, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the emperor's looking for ways to become immortal, and he's like, "Hey, this thing can make you," and he's like, "Well, I guess I got to get that head now."
Yeah, I mean, in a world where things, yeah, I guess it's reasonable. So Ashitaka, he actually recovers from his wounds. Oh, when the boars come in and have their little meeting with the wolves, Ashitaka's just laying on the ground. He's like, "Hey, quit that. Be peaceful." And they're like, "Shut up, little man."
Yeah.
So Ashitaka he discovers that Irontown is getting attacked by the samurai. And so Lady Eboshi, Jigo, and a lot of the stronger fighters have snuck off with a plan to take out the Force Spirit. And so all the Hoors are defending Irontown. And so Ashitaka heads off to try to stop Lady Eboshi. So Jigo's men trick Okuto to lead them toward the Force Spirit. And so what they do is take out a ton of the boars with landmines and explosives. The one weakness of a boar running into just fire. And so
they also don't tell the people that work in Irontown that he planted those landmines, so half of them get blown up by it too.
It's very much a very sloppy plan, but hey, it takes care of a lot of the boars. Lord Akoto is dilapidated, but still alive. So Jigo's men use the skin of the boars and are like, hey, we're back. And Akoto is like, hey, my men are back from the dead. Let's do this. And leads them straight to the Forest Spirit. And San is like, no, that's not your man. Like, come on, just look at him. And he's like, I'm blind, I can't. And they're like, oh yeah. So Akoto leads him straight to the Forest Spirit. And then Ashitaka is in the same area. And it all just goes to pot at this point. And the Forest Spirit is turning. And so when what day turns to night, night turns to day, changes form from a tiny little deer to a giant glowy 100-foot thing that just walks around. And I guess in this moment, it can be harmed, which I guess is the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, when it's changing, it can be harmed.
Because the Forest Spirit part got shot in the neck. It freezes and stops for a second and just keeps walking. So they're like, okay, so I guess it's a little indestructible. But while it's changing into the big form, Lady Eboshi straights just hip shot, head shots. No, she used her eyes. I just like to think that she did a 360 no scope. And straight destroys the Forest Spirit. And so they're like, yeah, we did it. They grab the head and they try to scoot off. The Wolf Spirit gets destroyed. Everyone's gone. Akoto is messed up and gets absorbed. And so the Forest Spirit loses its head. And then this ooze comes out of the body. And so anything that touches the ooze gets its essence just pulled from it and you die. And so now it's just a run. Everyone's just scooting away. While this is happening, Lady Eboshi's right arm gets just nommed off by the wolf spirit's head. So the head was just by itself and just...
They said it earlier. Like she said it earlier, it's like you can cut a wolf's head off, but he can still bite you. Like
so it gets
foreshadowed it.
Yep. Yeah. Eats her head off. So while this is happening, Ashitaka and San, they chase down Jigo and they actually get the head back because, well, Jigo doesn't have a change of heart. They're just surrounded by this scary ooze. And he's like, man, we went through all of this. Like, we're fine. And it's like, we're going to die in a second. So they give the head back to the Forest Spirit. But I don't understand if they waited too long because night was turning into day and it didn't have its head in the right amount of time. And so it didn't matter.
I think it was going to die regardless, but also not die because they kind of said it's still there. Yeah. But it was just like it got its head back and it was like, oh shit, it's turning into day. So let me just dive on top of the town. Like, let me just belly flop. Fuck, shooting star press Irontown. just destroy.
So the spirit dies, but the form washes over the land and heals everything. So hey, the trees are back, and Ashitaka's curse is lifted. Hooray! The spirit's dead. The spirit of nature is dead.
Because even he said, he was like, no, the forest spirit's not gone. He's still here. I was like, maybe he's just in a different form now. I don't know.
Hell, I don't know. So San still isn't the biggest fan of humans, but she likes Ashitaka because like they're pretty cool. And so he promises to visit her in the forest. You know what I mean? And Lady Eboshi actually promises to build a better town. She's like, maybe I won't be such a like a jerk. Maybe I don't have an arm. Maybe I learned something from this. And the forest begins to regrow. So hooray. Like I said, the problem did get solved, kind of, but someone did have to die. Like, so Ashitaka's plan didn't work out exactly the way he wanted, but the spirit is still around, I suppose. So, what was everybody's favorite character? Princess Mononoke. Steve.
Uh, I mean, Ashitaka was great. He's probably my runner-up. I'm actually gonna go with Lady Eboshi. She was just kind of like a boss bitch. She was like, whatever, these are gods, these are giant gods. I don't give a fuck. I got this gun. Me and my pistol are gonna take these motherfuckers out. She wasn't scared of these like of literal gods. Gave no fuck. She was like, nah, humans first. I'm taking care of I'm helping these whores out, I'm helping these lepers out, I'm helping my town out. Get out, get out the way. Cause I need to do better because these motherfuckers are coming to kill me. So get out of my face. Yeah, she wasn't scared of shit. I was like, damn, you were kind of a hard ass. Like you just you're a wolf god? Yeah, you did. Boar gods, pff, eat them for lunch. Forest spirit, yeah, I'll blow your head off. I don't care. She shot that motherfucker in the neck twice. That first time, just right through it. And she was like, oh, they didn't kill it? Mm-hmm, got you.
The face on the
Boom.
forest spirit when he took that first bullet through the neck. Like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck.
So yeah, she might have been, shitty and not respected nature at all. But just the fact that she was like, nah, I'm just a human, but I do not fear these fucking spirits and gods. I was like, that's kind of a hard ass move right there. And she was nice to other humans that weren't trying to kill her. So I think she was my favorite. Ashitaka was a close second, but this like usually I used to hate her back in the day, but I watched it again. I was like, yeah, you're kind of a boss ass lady right there. So I'm gonna go with her. Taco.
I really enjoyed. I like Morrow, the wolf goddess. I really enjoyed just their it's weird how they interact with people, but like when she was talking to Ashitaka after they like kind of like brought him in after he was fucked up, and she was like, look, you're here because you're cursed with this poison or whatever, but I don't care. I will kill you. Stay away from my daughter and just you got till morning. Get the fuck out of here. I don't know. I liked the way the wolves went about it. They were trying their damnedest to protect the forest spirit, and they were going into a like can't win battle, but they were also they weren't stupid like the boars were. The boars were just idiotic and like they were pretty close to being mindless beasts anyway, and they're trying to talk to him. I don't know. I like the wolves in this movie, and yeah. So like Morrow being their leader and San, all that stuff. I enjoy them a lot.
I mean,
Go ahead,
even,
Katie.
was it Akoto even said it? He was like we're getting smaller and stupider. So it's time to just take the fight to the humans. That's why the boy was like, yeah, all my followers are just getting dumber. So fuck it. Might as well kill them before they just turn full beast.
Yeah. Go ahead, Katie. Is she there?
Okay, so my favorite character was Ashitaka. He was the best. I loved that he just cared about everything and everyone. He wanted the best for the forest. He wanted the best for the wolves, and Princess Mononoke. He wanted the best for all of the humans. He was just a generally great dude, and he did everything he could to help save the day, and he was awesome. Otis.
So obviously Ashitaka's always amazing, but I actually went with Lady Eboshi this time. Even when I was younger, I understood her side of the whole story. And like I said, sometimes the end justifies the means. Sometimes for some people, she did have to do some wild stuff, but it helped out a lot of people in Irontown. And I will say, she did some dastardly things in the end, but she needed the help and the promise of protection from the like emperor later on, because they're like, hey, all these people really want my stuff, hey, if you can help me out with this, like, yeah, I'll kill that thing, whatever. It makes my job easier. If that forest spirit is not around, I can cut more of the forest down easy. It's funny that it took her losing her right arm to be like, man, maybe I should be a little nicer. But
I don't have to destroy the entire forest in order to mine the iron, but
right, hey, I'll just take a little bit out. But like Steve said, I've never seen a character just like, man, that thing's got to go. just ice. So many, like, that's a spirit. You're not really supposed to kill a spirit like that. And she took that thing's head off and just like, well, she shot twice and finally killed the thing. And I was like, oh my god. I forgot that it was so legit how she killed it. I couldn't remember how it gets his head knocked off. I was like, oh, she just straight shot it. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, shot it in the throat, and then it just kind of like popped. It popped his head off. Like, oh shit.
But no, Lady Eboshi's absolutely amazing. Oh, honorable mention to the leader of the Eboshi women that held down the fort while Lady Eboshi was gone. Is Jada Pinkett's
Toki.
voice. Yeah, she was awesome.
Toki.
I liked her a lot because she was talking smack to her husband, who was a crap dude, but she was really funny. She didn't take no crap from nobody. But okay, let's do least favorite character. Steve.
I'm actually gonna go with Jigo or Jingo, whatever the hell his name is. Billy Bob Thornton's character.
Yeah, he pooped.
Yeah, I kind of forget. Like, I hadn't seen this movie in like a decade, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember him. And I was like, oh, look at that, he's nice, he's helpful. I was like, does he come back later? And then he did, and it was just underhanded and double crossing everybody. I was like, ugh, I didn't like him just because. And he had those stupid shoes with like the one piece of wood that he was somehow able
click
to
clacking.
Yeah. super fucking athletic on them shoes. It was ridiculous. But nah, I didn't like him just because he was playing every angle and looking out for his own interest more than everybody else's. And yeah, it took him. It was like, hey, look at that giant, dead monster killing everything. I was like, why don't you give him its head back so it stops it? He's like, nah, I need this money. But he eventually did, just because it became down to either give it back or everybody dies right now. So, but yeah, I didn't like Jigo. He was the worst character. And it was Billy Bob Thornton, and that just didn't fit because it's Billy Bob Thornton's like country ass. And I'm like, well, that's clearly like a Japanese like monk, but all right.
Yeah, the voice was so weird. I was like, is that Billy Bob Thornton?
I didn't think so. I thought he was great. I thought he did a great job.
He did do a great job. It's just really not fine. It wasn't a bad pick. It was just really funny because it's Billy Bob. And he's got a very distinct voice, and you're like, that doesn't look like a character.
Yeah, but when this came out too, like nobody knew who Billy Bob Thornton was. Like he didn't stand out, like because what was his big role? Like Sling Blade? Wasn't this before Sling Blade?
Bad News Bears.
So yeah, I don't know. I actually really enjoy his performance for this.
I mean, most of the voice performances were really good, and they, like I said, they had a lot of big name people. Maybe not at the time, but if you look back at it now, you're like, wow, most of the main cast in this one are like pretty big names, especially for an animated Japanese movie. It seemed pretty cool that they got those names. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Katie. Who's your least favorite?
Okay. My least favorite character was all the humans at the end of the movie that tried to kill the forest spirit. So not any one person, just all of them for being greedy trash people. They were horrible, and they didn't care that the entire forest would just get destroyed and the town would get destroyed by this crazy sludge and everybody was gonna die. They didn't care. They were like, F it.
They didn't know.
Well,
Lady
the second they
Lady
cut off
Boshi
his
said
head,
earlier.
Stuff started getting crazy and they wouldn't give it back to him. Like, come on. You could have solved that, 20 minutes ago. Instead, you just running around this forest with that head in a basket, like making a mistake. A mistake. So all of those humans.
Lady Boshi said it earlier. She was like, we're gonna kill the forest spirit. I don't know what's gonna happen when we do, but we still gonna kill it. Like, oh, okay, she didn't care what was gonna happen. But then she got her arm ripped off.
To be greedy humans. So they could get more iron to mine.
Yeah, you gotta scuttle. You do bad stuff, you gotta get away.
Garbage.
Let's get out of here.
Okay.
Me? Yeah, Jigo. He's poop. Yeah, Steve said everything I was gonna say. He's a garbage villain. So, and like I said, everyone had a goal, but even from the beginning, I didn't like him. Even the first time I watched it, I was like, I don't like that guy. And then he's like, "Yo, I'll see you later." And he's like, "I'm gonna kill that god." then he gets the head. He's like, "I'm not giving it back. That's stupid." And he's like running away. People getting just demolished behind him. He's like, "I'm gonna get away." Yeah, Jigo's poop. So, Taco.
For me, it's the samurai as a group. Those guys were a bunch of jerks. They were like, when you first come across them, they're like slaughtering a village, and like people are running away, and they're just like catching up to them, like, yeah, get it, and just chopping people up. It's really fucked up. And then you come find out that they're making their way towards Irontown to capture them. They're just a bunch of dicks. And I enjoy all the other characters in this movie. They all serve a purpose, and I think they're well done. The samurai are just shit.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, it's not the, I'm an American idiot kind of thing. I don't know like all the samurai history or story, but I always thought the samurai were like the heroes of Japan. I thought was good guys.
Nah.
To an
I
extent,
don't know
if
everything.
money's involved, then they're like, yeah, whatever I'm doing is the right thing.
I did laugh really hard when those two samurai were coming at Akitashi, and he was like, "Y'all need to leave," and
Yeah.
they were like, "Get him!" He shot that one dude, knocked his head off. Boop. Yeah, and his friend was like, "Nope, done with this," and just turned his horse around and ran off. He was like, "Nope," he just lopped John's head off. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, he fucking fired that thing. Pew! It just clean off.
You can see
the first samurai he shot, he just like took his arms off at the freaking elbows.
Yeah.
Pinned him to a tree.
Ugh.
Yeah, the samurais were a bunch of jerks, and they were super greedy and super shitty. So I didn't like them. All right, Otis.
Yeah, so let's do 7-word synopsis. So I just came up with one. Some movies, like I'll sit and just enjoy it. I don't even think about my 7 because I usually try to type them up. So
yeah, that's kind of the way I do it. I'm like,
yeah.
Fuck.
So my only one I had is Lady Boshi really wasn't that bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was 7 in my head. No, she wasn't really that bad, but she was kind of. Maybe my last word should be kind of. Katie.
Okay. Humans suck, and we hate nice things.
Yeah.
And anime version of Fern Gully, better animation.
Kind of.
Yeah. I mean, it looks better.
But Akitashi was playing both sides. He wasn't like Fern Gully, where he was just like, "I'm on the side of trees." He was like, "Nah, I want everybody to survive this, and we need to just be cool."
Such unbelievable goals. He's like, "Hey, stop fighting. We can solve this." Like, "No, we can't, Chief. Someone's got to die."
Yeah, you're new. You don't know the situation. Go away.
Yeah. Okay. Steve.
I got 2. Humans come first, no matter the cost. Lady Yaboshi's apparent motto. And number 2, yeah, tree huggers fail the forest, kind of.
Yeah.
Because the forest grew back kind of at the end. So it was like, yeah, you kind of failed because the forest spirit died, and most of the smart animals are gone now, but like it's not a complete loss.
Yeah, we won.
Yeah, Taco.
Wolf Girl gets blasted in her Majora's Mask.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, she got demolished.
She got shot. Man, that just when she shoots her and it just bow and she falls backwards, that was hilarious. I don't know. It just like the animation right there when she takes that shot to the face. It's really great. She's bah!
That wife was like, "You killed my husband." She's like, "You think I care about her?" Okay. Okay. So let's do the budget. So this film came out July 12th, 1997. Good gravy. So what do you guys think the budget for this awesome film was? Katie?
$12 million.
For a million. Steve?
I'm gonna go 15. 15 mil.
15. Taco?
And I'll do 20.
20. So the budget for Princess Mononoke was $23.5 million.
Nice.
Yeah,
You
I
could
honestly
tell.
think.
There was like the animation in this is really good, and
It's
so
really good.
and
Yeah.
the voice acting is also really well done. So
Yeah, they've got some really good people for it. So yeah, the money is just, but you know, they're gonna make it back. So what do you guys think the box office for Princess Mononoke was?
Was
Again,
this released in theaters? I'm sorry.
yeah.
Yes. So it came out a little bit later because they were trying to find the right combination to get the script down. So they got Neil Gaiman. It took a little bit longer, and they found it was Miramax, and I forgot the other company. They did a joint effort. I want to say it wasn't Disney. It might have been Disney. They came up with a plan, and then it came out. So it did come out later.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna say 60 mil.
60 million. Steve?
Damn, that's a good guess. I'm gonna go 70 million.
70. Taco?
I'll go with 50.
50. On Taco, you really should have went over Steve. So the box office won $169 million.
Oh my God.
Whoa!
Oh wow. Okay.
That made
that was
so
way
much
more.
money.
I was
Okay.
not expecting that.
Yeah.
I don't remember it being in I don't remember anything about this until it was on HBO like later.
Yeah. So
No.
the thing was, like, in Japan, it did absolutely amazing. And then when it came over here, like, it just caught on. Like it's one of those films that just worked. And I want to say maybe like the word of mouth and stuff, but a lot of people thought it wasn't going to do that well. But then go figure. Like a lot of people watched it. It's on.
I was like, I bet a lot of parents took their kids expecting some Disney like Happy Time movie, and they're like, "What is happening in this movie?"
Oh my God!
Yeah. When the first dude's head came off, I was like, oh yeah. I forgot people get demolished in that movie really quick, and I was like, oh God. Oh, yeah. But no, I remember when we got to school, like, was it middle school or high school, when people were talking about this movie and like, yo, you got to watch it. And I was at some party and I watched it for the first time. It's absolutely amazing. So it makes sense that, I mean, it made some good change. So,
Yeah.
and go figure, that's why I said this movie helped Miyazaki not super retire. He's like, I'm done after this movie. Oh, it made that much? Maybe I'll stay a little bit longer. And every movie he does, like Spirited Away, he's like, I'm done after Spirited Away. Oh, it did that good? Yeah, maybe I'll stay a little bit longer. So
here's Howl's Moving Castle. Here's Ponyo and all the other movies he's
yeah,
made since.
they're just tossing out bangers after bangers. But like I said, Miyazaki, it's going to take a real stinker for him to be like, okay, I'm going to go to bed for real. But it's weird. Like I was talking about, like when people say they're retired from something, but they still can physically do it. It's like, what do you do? Like you make animation and you're like, just going to sit at home and just eat a sandwich. You're like, you can still do it. So I don't know. I would keep going until I couldn't like hold a pen, but I'm different. But obviously Miyazaki, he's like, I'm gonna come back and do it some more. So anybody have anything else to say about Princess Mononoke?
Yeah, this was like I think I said it last week. This was like the first. I remember seeing this on HBO when we were kids because I was 10 when this movie came out. So shortly, like it was before 2000. This was like that first movie that I realized that anime wasn't just shonen or Dragon Ball, basically. Because but at that point, the only anime I watched was like Dragon Ball or Sailor Moon and all the shit on like the kid shows. And this was like the first time I was like, oh, this isn't just for children. Like this was way more adult than any of the anime I had watched at that point. And this one's pretty tame compared to some of the hardcore fucking brutal shit that they put out. But Studio Ghibli doesn't go that dark with their stuff. But this one is actually quite dark with a lot of the time. But yeah, I love this movie. When I was like, oh, this is a great movie. And yeah, it was the first time I saw that animated movies weren't just for children. And
Yeah.
I've watched plenty of stuff since that's fantastic. So, but that was this one I'll give that. It was like this one got me
Oh, yeah.
into it a lot. So
It's really good. Yeah, you said all the words I was gonna say. This is an absolute banger. If you haven't seen Princess Mononoke, you're doing yourself a disservice. It is worth the time. It's 2 hours, 2:15, but
yeah,
I didn't feel it
It's good.
dragged. It moved
no,
pretty
it,
good.
it really doesn't. Yep.
Okay, so okay, he's not here. It's fine. I can do it myself. So if you have any cool Miyazaki facts, you can tweet us at Allentown Pod. No, Allentown Presents. We have an email. It is allentownpresents@gmail.com. God, it feels so weird when we have to do everything. We have a Facebook at Allentown Pod. So with the guys, we have one more anime film. We're going to decide what that is. And then we're going to move into, I want to say it's comic book movies next month. So I'm very pumped about that. So like always, thank you so much for listening. And we're back very soon with another film. Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
See ya.